Welcome, class, to Art 385. I'm Professor Troy Lamberth, and I wanted to just take some time here to introduce myself and to say hello. Also, to thank you. A few of you have sent some emails congratulating me on our new little boy that was born just a little over a week ago. Time has flown. I'm tired, but very happy. And our two other children, we have a boy who's 3 and a daughter who's 1, are very excited about their new little brother, and my wife is doing well. She's recovering. So we do thank you for your well wishes, and I also want to introduce you to Art 385. I had hoped to have this kind of introduction video a week ago, but our baby decided to come early, so things happen like that. I understand. With that, I just wanted to kind of let you know too, I understand online can be challenging at times. For me, I'm a very personal kind of guy. I like to get to know my students. I like to talk with them. I really enjoy in-class discussion. So with that said, I understand some of the challenges that exist for an online class out there. So if you have concerns, if you get lost, if you maybe even need some help, please feel free to contact me. Email me. I check my email daily. I always check it first thing in the morning. I check it a couple times during the day. And then I always check it in the evening before I go to bed. So it's at least 3 or 4 times I'm looking at my email during the course of a day. So please contact me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I also want you to know too that this class, it's going through a bit of a metamorphosis. I have taught Art 385 for several years now, and you might have even heard of the class. And it was from a little bit of a different perspective, looking at more of the kind of techniques, as well as the story elements that exist within movies. And though this class still has some of those elements, it is a bit of a difference. I would put it in the category of, and there might even be some film study students taking this class here, so they would understand a little bit more. But this book and author are definitely more in the line of academic film studies, looking at film as its own unique art form, very much the way we'd look at literature. Or even paintings and art. And I'm sure you've already picked up on that as you've read here in the first couple of chapters. But I know that myself, I've also looked at some of the lectures from the previous professor who taught it online last term, that when you read through this, we have to be honest, it's sometimes it goes over our head. I've studied this. I went to school. I'm more on the practical side. I went to production school. I studied film. But when you look at and read some of her observations and theories, they tend to perhaps weigh us down a little bit. I want to encourage you, read it. It's part of the assignment. But really, let's try to glean from it some of the big concepts that might help us understand cinema and maybe even enjoy cinema on a new level. Whether you are a Dumb and Dumber fan, or Citizen Kane floats your boat, perhaps Saving Private Ryan, or The Bounty Hunter, or maybe Red Desert was that one film you were waiting for all your life and now you have found your favorite film. Regardless of what your films are and what your favorite films are, we can observe these movies and appreciate them for the art that they are. Obviously, in this class, the films that we're looking at outside of the first one, An American in Paris, are all foreign films, most of them European films, who really tended to take the art form of cinema as something that was new. I read somewhere that sometimes it was referred to as the seventh art, the seventh new medium, if you will, of how humans have developed in their artistic endeavors. I've often looked at movies as really the culmination and or the pulling together of everything. You have, obviously, as we've been looking at the visual art aspect of it, and some of the similarities within painting and so forth, but performance and music and montage, all these sort of art forms are being pulled together. Literature, obviously, the screenwriting aspect of it, are all being pulled together into one area. But there are a lot of people, men and women, who have thought about cinema over the last 120 years or so. You might even kind of pause and go, 120 years? Really? Has it been around that long? When I kind of had the freedom to set up the structure of this class, I would look at some of these early films, and I'm talking late 1880s, early 1890s. Thomas Edison's company, the Black Maria Productions, as well as the Lumiere brothers in France, began using the film camera and capturing life. And we can look at some of these old films and just be amazed that they are well over 100, well, right, as I said, about 120 years old, 115 years old. And then as we watch this new medium develop and this new art develop, there are those who are gifted with the ability to be artists and to be thinkers and to analyze and to question and to dive into what do we mean by this, and if we use the camera this way, can we actually capture life, or could we recreate life, or can the camera, as we were looking at, or you're going to look at this week here in chapter 3, as Alexander Astruk, I think that's how you say his last name, the camera stylo. Can cinema be just like literature, where Mark Twain picks up a pen and starts writing, and there he goes, he's writing the great American novel, Huckleberry Finn. There it is. It came from my head, it went through my pen onto paper, and now you enjoy it. That really is, and I believe she has referred to it, the idea, the theory of the auteur. And that's a French term for author. And so a lot of these men and women who were thinking about film in the early days were wondering, can we take this camera, and very much like the writer would take a pen, can the filmmaker take a camera stylo, literally the camera as a pen, as a writing utensil, take what's in the director's mind and actually just translate it right onto screen. It's a theory. It's something to ponder, something to think about. But it is a theory. And as you'll read here in chapter 3, it seems at times that Eric Rohmer, the director of the film of this week, Marquise of O, maybe even struggled with this idea. He wasn't quite sure if he could go directly from his mind in a sort of a literature sort of way, take the words and put them onto screen. I think he realized that the camera of the film was something unique. Our gifted author here, Angela Dalvecche, I believe that's how you would say it. If you speak Italian, please let me know if I'm butchering that. But I believe she has presented a couple different quotes from him that kind of show that he was working through his approach to cinema and how that works. But anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. I really just wanted to kind of do this introduction to say hello. As I alluded to earlier, my background is in film and television production. I went to film school at Chapman University now over 11 years ago, 12 years ago. My goodness, time has flown. I've worked on independent films. I've worked on industrial television projects, which basically are infomercials and commercials that you've never seen. One of the wonderful things about working in this industry is that people often will have said, "Whoa, really? Well, what have you done?" Maybe I've seen it, but the chances are you probably haven't. I also did a lot of just freelance video production, putting together short documentaries for different companies about some of the subjects they were working with. And I am also now currently a full-time communication professor, teaching everything from film to journalism. Um, One of my goals for this class, as well as a professor and many other classes I teach, is to be able to help you connect with the subject. I understand that sometimes professors enjoy, and I want to be careful because some of these are my peers and I appreciate them, but they enjoy the deeper things of life. Now, I enjoy deep things of life. Don't get me wrong. I love to think. I love to ponder. I love to read. I love to be challenged and to grow in new areas. Um, but sometimes it can be dry, if we're honest. And so, what I hope to do in this class is maybe add a little water, maybe a little bit of a spice to it to help us understand. So, with that, if you perhaps have some suggestions, if you stumble across in your research things that might help make this course, as it has now been kind of standardized, please let me know. I would love your input. But with that, I think I will wrap up this kind of introduction here. Let you know that I'm thankful that you're in this class. I look forward to getting to know you as much as we can online, and uh, we will now move on to the second part of the lecture. I'll end this here and start the second part of the lecture for week number 3. All right, thank you very much. I'll talk to you very soon.